Hi, it's JamesAnimalHarrison. It's new lesson day. Today we're going to do a groove that by a band that has actually eventually become one of my favorite bands. And I have to admit, I kind of dismissed these guys early on because they came out in the mid 80s and I was so anti drum machines and programming and stuff like that. But the groove that they put on the song eventually just kept making me go like this. And I eventually fell in love with the song. It's a tune called Everybody Wants to Rule the World. The drummer for the band, I believe, was a guy named Manny Elias. I think that's how you say it. Although, from everything that I've read, this song was programmed. And they took the snare sound from Shout and changed the pitch of it and put it on here. So I believe it's pretty much put together like a puzzle piece. But it's still a great groove. And I've never seen this band live. I'd love to. I've seen a lot of video clips of people demonstrating this beat and a lot of live concert clips of drummers playing it, and I've seen it played lots of different ways. And I'll talk about different ways that you can do it. I'm sure I'll mess up because it is tricky, and at the same time, I'll explain why I think it is the way it is. Again, initially it was apparently programmed. It has a heavy synth bass that's doing do, 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 do. Sounds like somebody popping it, but it's a keyboard bass in a way. And it's pretty heavy on the bottom. A backbeat on 2 and 4, and you can think of it as being in 12/8, or you can think of it being in 6/8 or something like that, or just a triplet feel. If you don't count music, it doesn't matter. You can just listen to it. One of the unique things about it is the hi-hat part plays off the beat. So if you were counting it, it would be 1 trip. It's on the second note. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. So it starts 1/8 note after the beat and stays off, and then it lines up with the snare on 2 and 4. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. Again, if you don't count, that's fine. And I know when I talk and play the drums at the same time that the camera mic on the phone adjusts and makes differences. So you don't have to count it all. But one thing you want to practice to get used to that is just put a bass drum on 1 and 3 and a kick on 2 and 4, which I mean a snare on 2 and 4, which is a very common thing we all do. 1, 2, 3. Now, if you played that beat, it would work, and you go up to tempo, it's more going to be like. Now, I don't believe that's what it really is. That is what the hi-hat is. There's some other ways I've seen it play where the kick plays on the first and third note of the triplet on beats 1 and 3. It would be like this. There you go. I do know one thing. I cannot talk and play any variation of this beat. Now, there's a clip of the current drummer for them, and I'm drawing a blank on his name right now, and I apologize for that, where he's talking about in an interview about his new drum set, and he plays the beat. The interviewer asked him to play the beat, and he plays it pretty heavy. And I do notice one thing about Tears for Fears. Over time, they've become much a heavier band, a lot more guitar, a lot more, even though they still have a lot of the synths, everything's a little bit more, you know, heavy bottom end drumming wise than early on. And I don't know that drummer's name, but he's playing a shuffle on his foot like this. And that is what I truly believe it to be. Some people will play the bass drum where it's going. To match the synth bass part. It may be that way, but to me it doesn't groove as well. So I believe it is a shuffle with the backbeat on 2 and 4 and the hi-hat off the beat. Basic rock shuffle with the hi-hat off the beat. Now, in the midst of all that programming, there's a heavy shaker sound, basically going the whole time. Now, I have a Vader stick made here, and I'm going to hold it. You can put it on. It actually has a little O-ring here. I put it on a stick, and I'm going to do it, but it's not going to be loud enough to fill in that gap. I'm going to play a little bit stiff with my right arm. The Vader Stickmate shaker. They also have a Vader Stickmate tambourine. This will give you a little bit more sound. That helps to fill in some of those holes that you don't have if you don't have. They used a Lindrum. From what I understand, the shaker and the snare came from a Lindrum. And another thing you can do is just play 16ths, or it would be 8th note triplets. And if you start with the right hand, you're going to accent the left. Okay, you can also do that starting with the left hand and the right. I have a trash hat set over here. Very trashy sound. I'm going to play the right hand quiet and the left hand loud and do the... Now playing it that way does give me a little bit of that thing to fill it up. Another thing I can do, and I'm not positive I can do this because I haven't done this for ages. First off, I've never played this tune in a band. Which I would have loved to have done because it is a great dance tune and everything, but I just never have done it. I've taught the beat a few times, but I've never tried it with a shaker. So I'm going to try that. Now I did grab this. This goes on a foot thing, and I'm going to play it in my left hand first. And so my right hand is actually on the upbeats. So it'd be like if I put a bass drum. Yeah, I definitely need to work on that. I'm going to try with my right hand. So if you want to be game enough to try that, I think that sounds pretty cool to have that there. I would probably try to do that in a band if I had the time. You can also try to hold it in your right hand while you play. Maybe something like not quite as smooth, but it works really well. This is an LP. Again, it goes on a foot pedal that goes on the ground. And that's kind of packed away right now, so I just grabbed this part because it was something I could get to easily. But it's very loud. And that's why I grabbed it versus like a little shaker that I just dropped on the floor. This little LP shaker sounds great, but it's not loud enough. And the LP would cut in a miking situation. So now I'm not going to play the whole song. Most of the fills are triplet oriented. Okay, I normally have a cymbal and a splash set up right here, but they're moved so I can use the camera. So anyway, it's a great song. It's a great band. The Sowing the Seeds of Love, or actually the album is called The Seeds of Love, but Sowing the Seeds of Love is very Beatlesque and really cool. There's a tune on there called The Bad Man Song, which is a great tune. And it's got a lot of guest drummers on that one. Simon Phillips is on there. Phil Collins is on there. Plays a great drum part on a great song called Woman in Chains. I think there's a guy named Chris Hughes playing drums on there. I'm drawing a blank because I haven't looked at the jacket of that in a long time, but great drumming and great stuff. And like I said, it was a band that grew on me. I kind of avoided a lot of those electronic synth bands back then, like Flock of Seagulls and stuff like that. And there's nothing against it. Eventually, I ended up playing a lot of those tunes in cover bands and liked it. But initially, I didn't like it, with the exception of a band called Level 42, which I just dove right in and liked them. And now Level 42 and Tears for Fears, I put in that same group to where they won me over. So anyway, there's a lesson for today. It's not a shuffle, but it is shuffle related. A lot of the lessons coming up, we'll still do some shuffles now and then, but it won't be a shuffle every week. And we'll tackle lots of different songs. If you have a request, as long as it's not some kind of, out there progressive thing that's going to take whatever. I'm basically talking about the grooves of songs for helping other drummers figure them out, not some kind of math-oriented music and stuff like that. But we'll tackle lots of things as they come along, but Tears for Fears. Everybody Wants to Rule the World. Amazing song, amazing drums. And check it out. Thanks.